Towards the end of this game, the Chicago Bulls go in a long scoring drought that allows the Houston Rockets to push to the overtime. Luckily, the Chicago Bulls take care of business in overtime to get the victory. We're going to break it all down, have some fun, as only we can do here at Chicago Bears Central right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
I see red, I see red, I see red, I see red, yeah, I see red, I see red, I see red, I see.
The sweet life of Zach and Kobe was on display in today's game against the Houston Rockets. But Keely, Kobe White is him. For anybody that kept doubting how legit Kobe White's run is this season, he faced off against another most improved player of the year candidate in Afrin Sengun, who also had a really big fourth quarter as well. But Kobe White leads the Chicago Bulls in scoring with 30 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 turnovers as well. But he goes 9 of 17 from the field, 6 of 11 from three-point range as well. Zach LaVine having hit one of his most complete games of the season. Plays solid defense, everything. He has 25 points in his first start back from injury as well. He goes 8 of 15 for 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 steals, 1 block as well, 4 turnovers. Zach LaVine balled out today. Nikola Vucevic even with 18 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists. And then you have DeMar DeRozan with 19 points, going 5 of 19 shooting, 4 assists. He chips in as well as 4 rebounds. And then Alex Caruso, the fifth starter, with 12 points. One thing that we've always seen with the Chicago Bulls team is when the starting lineup gets balanced out, right? I talked about that after the first half of this game, is the balance across the starting lineup. When you look at it again in this game, is that, you know, every starter had double-digit shot attempts. Zach LaVine with 15, Alex Caruso with 10, Kobe and Vooch with 17, and DeMar DeRozan with 19 shots. But then the bench, really solid play from the bench as well in this game. Andre Drummond only 13 minutes played with 4 points. Still no rebounds. I was so confident that Andre Drummond was going to get a bunch of rebounds in the second half of this game. He didn't, but he also chipped in 2 steals. Ayo Dosunmu with 8 points in this game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists in that. Patrick Williams, 28 minutes off the bench. He leads the bench in minutes. 6 shots made. I'm taking 3 steals, 1 assist, only 5 points from Patrick Williams. And then Dalen Terry with only 6 minutes played, but 3 points. But overall in this game, the Chicago Bulls just, like I said, the fourth quarter was bad, especially towards the end of that when we went on that drought. Unfortunately, that was something that really helped the Rockets push that game into overtime. But we lost the rebounding battle 46-50. Again, a lot of that coming in the fourth quarter and overtime periods of this game. We had 30 points in the paint to their 56 points in the paint. We won second chance points and fast break points. But again, the Bulls get the victory. That is the most important thing here. They just got to tighten some things up. Overall, with the Chicago Bulls, as we know, they have trouble putting teams away. And that is something the Bulls really got to look at with a team, as a team to kind of fix. We now move to 4 games below 500. We beat the Houston Rockets. We put them at only 1 game above 500. But we knew this was going to be one of those games that came down to both teams' defenses, who could make a stop. And in that fourth quarter, like I said, we went on like a 3-minute scoring drought to end that fourth quarter. The start of the overtime period, it looked like Sengun was going to absolutely kill us. But we were able to pull it together and still get a victory in this game. But I don't want to make it seem like it was easy. They win by 5 points. It could have been a lot more than that. But Zach and Kobe are fitting well together. I got to give credit to head coach Billy Donovan as well for just drawing up a scheme that's working, that gets everybody the ball. And, you know, there are some really big questions. It's one game, right? So let's not act like it's too much. One game so far, but it seems like the offense still has its balance. And Billy Donovan, who has talked about not wanting to really change Kobe White's role with Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic coming back into that starting lineup, and he really didn't. Kobe White still is him. And that's one of the biggest things in this. We know with Billy Donovan, his words don't always match the results we end up seeing on the court from his teams, but it has been so far. Now, there is something to be said about Kobe only getting 1 shot in the overtime period. You know, we talk a little bit about that, but overall, Kobe White, especially in the second half, he leads the team in scoring in the second half of this game. He goes with 14 points, 4 of 9, and 2 of 6 in just the second half of this game. 5 assists as well. So, you know, that's a good thing for Kobe White. And overall, like I said, I don't want the way that the game ended in the fourth quarter to overshadow some of the good things we did in this game. And for the credit of it, this team did a lot of really good things in this game. We led the time of possession overall. We led the game for 39 minutes. 39 minutes of a 50-minute game basically. And so you can't hate on that, right? But the Bulls just got to tighten some things up, man. We got to be better at closing out these teams when we have leads, because it's not going to always be this easy. Now, January is a fairly easy month for the Chicago Bulls. The Houston Rockets are one of only 3 teams that we're facing in the month of January that have a winning record. So we're now down to two teams on our schedule this month. The remaining of this month have winning records. So this is a time where the Bulls can move up the standings. But if you're going to keep playing like this and let up on big leads, that may not hold true for the whole time. So the Bulls definitely got to look to fix those things as well going forward. We want to tighten that up so we can be one of these teams that definitely moves up in the Eastern Conference. We now have a full game lead on that 9th spot, and now we move to 4 games behind the Orlando Magic for the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. You guys got me watching standings. I don't usually watch them until about mid-February, but it's fun to talk about when it comes down to it. But overall, good win for the Chicago Bulls. Like seeing the way that we performed in this, like the way that we fought back from adversity as well, right? The fact of the matter is this: there were a lot of games at the beginning of this season and last season that had Alfred Sengun went on the type of run that he did in the fourth quarter and to start the overtime period, that we just wouldn't have battled back from. We wouldn't have been able to have enough to still pull out the victory. We did that in this game, and a lot of part of that is trusting in Kobe White, spreading the ball around as a team, the defense from Zach LaVine. So I'm going to take more positives than negatives from it. I'm just a little concerned going into the tougher part of the schedule that we can go into if this is going to maintain. But I don't want to be negative, Nancy. I want to be positive. Let's celebrate the fact that our team got this dub and we keep winning. We now made it 3 wins in a row, and see if we can keep pushing this, man. I mean, listen, the Bulls are running right now, man, and they're playing together as a team, and that's the thing that makes it feel like it's the most sustainable, right? Is the fact that this Bulls team is really locking in and playing team basketball, and even when some adversity comes, they're not going away from that. So many times over the last 3 years since this version of the team came together, that we have really good runs, but the moment a team punches us in the face, we kind of wither away. Now the Bulls are really fighting back in a lot of these games, even though I wish they wouldn't be putting themselves in those predicaments, but they're still fighting back. And that's something to be said about it as well. So we get a day off. We come back Friday at home against the Golden State Warriors before we go out on another 3-game road trip. And so let's hope the Bulls can get another dub against the Warriors. We can start stacking up these wins in a month of January that we face a lot of competition that just doesn't have winning records. We got San Antonio, Cleveland, Toronto, Memphis, which has lost Ja Morant now. Those are the next 4 games up after we face the Golden State Warriors. So let's hope the Bulls can take care of that business, right? That's what it comes down to. Taking care of, can we stand on business as a team? Can we do that for a consistent period of time? Because if we stand on that business, we're going to start getting these wins. We're going to be able to go on this playoff run, and we're going to see what it's going to be, man. I like a lot of what we've seen from this team and how it's coming together. And that's the big part in this, man. This team is really playing as a team, which, hey, it leads into a lot of you guys asking, can we hold on to Zach LaVine? Should we hold on to Zach LaVine? As the best thing for his trade value and everything is to keep riding this out until we get to the end of the season. And let's start showing that Zach LaVine can contribute to winning, right? And that's what he did in this game with his defense, how he stuffed the stat sheet on top of other things. Really overall good game from Zach LaVine. You can't take anything away from that. DeMar was a little bit questionable today, man. I want to see better from DeMar. We also need to see Patrick Williams step up a little bit more as well. But that's what it is. We're going to go ahead and get to your guys' comments. Let's see how you guys are feeling about this dub. ISO DeMar has got to stop, and that's on the coach. Hey, I agree with you, Joe. Completely agree with you. Completely agree with you. Why the hell does DeMar have the ball at the end of the game when he's cold instead of Zach and Kobe? Did he threaten Billy or something? Because that's the only possible explanation. I told you guys before, right? And not to say that I agree with it, but I diagnosed it. Is that DeMar DeRozan typically is the one when you can't get a bucket. And that's what we're suffering. If you notice, one thing stays in common when DeMar DeRozan gets the ball at the end of games. It's when the Bulls go on these scoring droughts. And right now, that is head coach Billy Donovan's safety valve. Is when the Bulls can't get a bucket late in the game, it becomes DeMar time because Billy Donovan looks at it as DeMar DeRozan can either get to the free throw line or he can make a tough shot. We can get some offense that way. And I really want to start seeing that change to trusting Kobe White as your point guard to make a decision whether it's for scoring or to dish the ball off to somebody else. I think we're going to eventually see that come around because DeMar just has not been the fourth quarter DeMar that he was a couple of years ago. And that's something that Billy Donovan has to realize, right? That's not just on the players. Billy Donovan has to realize this is now Kobe White's team. I said that when Zach LaVine was coming back from injury. This isn't the same. This ain't the same little bro that you left, right? Little bro became a grown man while you were out. And Billy Donovan has to realize that and start trusting Kobe White a little bit more in those moments. So, we'll see what ends up happening with that. Give Kobe Zach's max. Listen, Kobe still got some things to prove, man. Let's be clear here, right? But Kobe's playing really well right now, and you cannot take away from how Kobe White's performing, man. Kobe White is he's balling out right now, and you gotta love the way that he's playing. DeMar gotta go. I mean, listen, I know it's the thing, right, to have these knee-jerk reactions, but let's not act like DeMar doesn't help the Bulls at times because he does. Now, I mean, the contract situation that presents itself with DeMar DeRozan is that the Bulls are going to have to make a tough decision at the trade deadline. Do you keep holding on to DeMar DeRozan? Because at some point you got to realize it may be time to move on. If he's not going to re-sign here, you can't let him. Well, you can let him walk away for nothing and then just to eat the cap space. But you may have to do something different at that point in time. Vaughn says, Billy's a terrorist. Going to DeMar for that final shot. I'm glad Zach and Kobe carried us to that win in OT because what the fuck? Good win, Bulls. Completely agree with you. You have to start trusting your young players that are ascending in the fourth quarter. The thing is, right, it's kind of like the chicken or the egg conversation, right? Is that, yes, DeMar DeRozan historically is a better fourth quarter closer than Zach or Kobe White. Zach or Kobe White. I thought I said the same thing. Zach or Kobe White. But if you truly want to develop another player to be able to step up in those fourth quarter situations, you have to trust them to do it. And you're not trusting them by taking the ball out of their hands, especially when they're cooking. It'd be different if Kobe had a bad game or if Zach LaVine were having a bad game. If both players were just having bad games overall, you can understand it. But it's about more than that at this point in time, right? These are the players that carries you to be able to be in this situation to win this game. You have to be able to trust them. And we know Zach LaVine's basketball IQ and fourth quarter things and stuff like that historically is bad. So I understand that. But what do you have to say about Kobe in a case like that? Kobe White is your player that's growing. Kobe White's your player that's ascending. And if you're not going to be willing to trust him in those moments to step up and push things for you, you're not going to develop that part of his game. So you have to develop that. And the only way that you can develop that is putting him in situations. Sure, there may be some games where if you trust Kobe White in the fourth quarter, maybe you do end up losing that game. But that's what builds that confidence. Just like you didn't stop going to Kobe White when he was having his shooting slump and you let him work himself out of it. You have to allow these players time and opportunity to work themselves into being that closer. You got to do that. And until Billy Donovan is willing to do it, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. But big game from Kobe and Zach down the stretch of this game. Kobe and Zach went crazy, though. DeMar in the fourth was sad, but he has made a lot, too. Exactly, right? And that's definitely a fair view on it for sure. Brandon L. Jet says, y'all going to quit disrespecting Kobe, spell his name right. Facts. Spell the man's name right? Y'all want Billy Donovan to trust him in the fourth quarter. Y'all can't even spell his name right. I was getting Bulls did too much ISO with DeRozan and LaVine. They got to let Kobe be the point guard and step up. LaVine and DeRozan to close out the game. Agreed. I completely agree with you there, Zul. Tay Holland says, these refs need they ass beat. Ain't nobody coming to see them. That's fun. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Ain't nobody coming to see you. Mediocre Self says, if I was Kobe, I'd be mad. Billy and DeMar got to go. This game tells us all we need to know why DeMar should be the first motherfucker traded if anyone is traded, not Zach. Like I said last game, hold him hostage. That's funny. A lot of people share that. A lot of people share that opinion on forget Zach requesting a trade and just hold him hostage. And listen, old man Jerry Reinsdorf may agree with you according to the thing that came out today as far as Jerry Reinsdorf is basically what's keeping the front office from taking a bad trade for Zach LaVine. D Trip says, yeah, going with DeMar. Billy was tweaking with that. And Billy, listen, like I said before, DeMar DeRozan is Billy Donovan's safety net. And I get it to a degree, but you have to be willing to develop that in other players when they're showing you that they're ready for that opportunity. So Vooch can't guard Sengun, but Sengun really hitting those tough shots. I mean, listen, Vooch played some really good defense as far as being in the right position defensively. Sengun just hit tough shots, man. And once that confidence started flowing for Alfred, like you couldn't contain it. You couldn't contain it, man. You couldn't contain it. Billy almost sold this game for us. DeRozan had a bad night offensively. Kobe needed to be the guy to close it out, but good win regardless. That's from Immortal Beast. Great points there, brother. Great points. J Law in the building says, I'm going to dip my toe in these refs. Whoa, why are we dipping toes in grown man's asses? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Everybody needs to recognize Vooch was doing well on Sengun early. Late in the game, young legs was killing Vooch. That's a fact, and that's something that happens. Jerome Lucas says, y'all love blaming DeMar. See, and this is the thing. You got to be able to objectively. Nobody's blaming DeMar. People are holding DeMar accountable for what he did. Two things can be true at the same time. Yes, Vooch got killed, but he was in really good defensive position. And DeMar DeRozan missed shots that he usually makes. Two things can be true at the same time. Stop being triggered to where you can't hear objective honesty in sports. Big Disciple says, got to put the ball in Kobe's hands. I mean, what else he going to do but be clutch, which he and Zach did. DeMar's good, but in certain situations during the game, Kobe needs the ball in the fourth. No argument for me there, brother. No argument for me. Matthew says, this game solidified my decision. Bulls offensive weapons need to be Kobe, Zach, DeMar, and Pat. Need defensive rim protection and starting center. Love Vooch, but Phil, he's older as well. He's odd man out. Gotta disagree, because again, our offense doesn't move as efficiently when Vooch isn't in there. And I think we have a habit of looking at just what Vooch doesn't bring and kind of overlooking the things that he does bring that really do help the team as well. Melvin says, bad win. We need to talk. Why was DeMar deferred back to selfish ISO since Zach and Vooch have been back, where he almost sold like the last Charlotte game? Kobe has been disrespected. If I'm him, I'm pissed. Listen, it is what it is, right? You got to have those conversations, but I do think that as Kobe's growing as a vocal leader, he does need to be able to share his opinion. You can see he was pissed off. Look at his whole body tone. Kobe was mad as hell, Billy Donovan, for letting DeMar control too much of the ball during the last couple of plays. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Shay. Not saying that you're wrong. Antoine says, Kobe has arrived, people. Kobe's legit, but the thing is, Kobe still has things that he can still work on his game, and that's the thing that makes this so exciting about the season that Kobe White is having right now, is that he's talked about, hey, how can he grow as off the ball, right? And that's when you start doing those type of things, you become that complete player. And Kobe White's ascension this season is crazy. Great to see in the building. Prove me wrong says Orlando next games are Heat, Thunder, Knicks, Hawks, 76ers. We can chase the 8th seed. And side note, I told you about Kobe. Y'all was killing me because you said it at the wrong time. Like, you weren't talking about, you were literally at a time where Kobe was averaging 9 points. Like, oh, just simple. Start Kobe White. To ignore the fact that Kobe has grown this year, you're crazy, brother. Blessed Up Shay says Sengun was talking to shit. I was wondering, I'm like, bro, is someone going to shut his ass up or house fuck out of here? I mean, hey, that pride aspect is real, right? That pride aspect is real. Great point here. All them MFers on Bulls Twitter were so quick to call Kobe's hot streak a fluke. I mean, listen, you guys know my co-host over on Locked On Bulls, Pat the designer. He was one of the guys that were like, hey, I got to see Kobe do it longer. Yeah, he's playing really good right now, but I don't trust it. And he's come along, right? I think there's something to be said. Like, I understand. I don't agree, but I understand the pessimism around, is Kobe White going to be able to keep this up? Because we've seen Kobe have hot streaks before, but not maintain the level of play that he's been playing. But now at this point, if you're denying how legit Kobe White is at this point, you're just ignorant at this point. Like, Kobe White is real. It's real. It is what it is, man. We got Shay in the building. The other Shay says, I don't give a shit. I'm still going to complain. We should have given Kobe White. First of all, if you spell his name right, like Brandon L. Jet said, spell his name right, Shay. Your grammar got to improve, my guy. Impressed as Zach was tonight. It makes it, though, to want to trade him, knowing that he can play like this. I mean, listen, the thing is, nobody came into this season. let me not say some Bulls fans did, but the Bulls didn't come into the season planning on trading Zach LaVine. It was things that changed, right? And so I do think that, Zach playing the way that he's playing, does it change some things? Does it change him wanting to leave, especially with the team winning? Maybe, right? Can't say that for sure, but maybe. JDH in the building, fresh off having his face in the stripper's booty, says, Haize, when you see Billy next, ask him why his point guard didn't touch the ball on the last play of the game. 24 seconds of DeMar dribbling. That was definitely tough. And I think, like, we'll talk about it over on Locked On Bulls. I'm going to hold that for a topic over there when we go live over there. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Deanna says, as the leading scorer, why wouldn't you put the ball in Kobe's hands in the fourth? I mean, damn, the water boy could have drawn up a better play. Keep in mind, Billy Donovan is terrible at drawing up inbounds plays as well. That's another thing in this. Corey Barnes, my sister's going to the Warriors versus Bulls game Friday with Jordan and 90s team being there for the ceremony, and she's a Warriors fan. She doesn't deserve to be there over me. Well, then you should have went. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, Haize. I had to slow the chat down to give you a fighting chance with these comments, bro. It's no chance. Like it's gone at this point. It's up. It's up. I'm just gonna grab the comments that I can when I can. I can't be the only one who had the stank face when Kobe got that block in the third. Dude is a hooper for real. Kobe White is a complete player. That just is what it is. Kobe White is an absolute complete player. Love to see it. Shout out to the super chat from Vince Patrick. Thank you for supporting the channel at that level, my brother. He says, you saw Billy D's coaching issues. Vooch was getting killed. No adjustment. He's not 100% yet. ISO to DeMar. Not drawing plays late for Kobe. Poor substitutions. No challenges on bad fouls. Billy was Houston's best player. Nah, listen. Alfred Sengun was still Houston's best player, but Billy Donovan definitely did help some things out there for sure. What can be done to get Pat in a position to play on the attack? Feels like he's letting that mid-range aggressiveness go since Zach Vooch came back. I mean, it's all mental with Pat, and that's the thing. It's always going to be mental with P. Will, and hopefully he gets back to playing the way that he was playing while those guys were out. JD8 says Billy should have used Drummond in the fourth on the Big Turk from Houston. Vooch was cold on offense. We weren't playing through him. We needed strength, size, and rebounding. Billy wasted Vooch. Okay. Eads Instruments in the building says, hey, Haize, how are you, man? FYI, smash that like button. Hey, listen, I thought you were about to say something else when I was reading it. So I'm glad you smashed the like button. Y'all hit the goddamn button as well, man. Matter of fact, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. We have a goal of getting to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the season. We're about 3,300 off from that. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, man. Show enough, says Kev said the ref looks like he eats brown chicken for that flop call. Facts. That's an interesting statement. It's a very interesting statement. Very interesting. Dan Mule says, free Kobe, your eyes got mad white. See, no, I'm gonna keep ignoring if you keep trying to get that dumbass comment off. You're not like, stop it. Stop. Do something better. Stop trying to get off a lame ass joke from halftime. Do better, Dan. These are the games I want us to win. These games to make us better and stronger as a team. Like Cat Williams said, you battle tested and these Bulls are starting to get there. Hey, this was a big game. And I say that in the sense that, like, the Houston Rockets are the second best defensive team in the NBA. And they're a young team that can get out and run, things like that. You can't keep overlooking that. And so the Bulls taking care of business in this one is important. I would understand having DeMar get the last shot facing the Celtics, Memphis, etc. Houston, let the young core develop. I mean, last shot is the last shot. But I think in this game, when they were playing well down the stretch, it is what it is there. Davelin Winslow says, throwing in that reminder, a favorable record at the end of the week will keep LaVine here until at least the end of the season. You got to disagree with that. That's not necessarily true. As long as Kobe keeps calling for DeMar to be the hero, LaVine is going to one out. I don't think that it really has much to do with that. I don't. I get that sounds good storyline wise, but I don't think that's really it. Vooch is ninth in point per game, ninth in rebounds per game, sixth in assists per game amongst all centers. He's not the greatest defensively, but I'll take what he's good. Exactly. Like people really overlook how good Vooch is at his position. Anthony Ramirez says, bet you missed this comment. Well, you would have bet wrong. Great work on your videos, my bro, and wish you great 2024. Thank you, brother. Hopefully this is a 2024 of growth. We got goals. Got to hit that 20,000 subscribers. Mediocre Self says, I have a question about the future matchups against Houston. I'm surprised I'm saying this, but do you think small ball would work against Houston? I think people would have done better guarding Sengun. I mean, probably. And I also think some of the way we got outworked on the rebounds because we were small out there as well. And so hopefully we see that start fixing itself as well. I understand DeMar is never going to be off the floor in close games, but I would love these to see Williams on the floor to provide more defense and spacing and to prevent DeMar ISO fourth quarter. I don't think I don't think anything prevents DeMar DeRozan having ISO moments in the fourth quarter except Billy Donovan. It got to come to Billy Donovan as a coach stepping in and saying, this ain't what we about to do. We're not about to do this. This isn't how we about to operate right now. Billy D had a bad game again. It's a long season. He coached some great games and had one bad game. We refer back to saying he's bad. Let's be consistent. Well, I think it's this. He's always been inconsistent at that, though, right? I think that's a part of why you're seeing people react the way that they react. It's not just one bad game. It's one bad game on top of the things that he's always been bad at. So that kind of plays a part into it as well. Bulls for Life says, what are the chances Bulls try to trade with the Kings but look to send DeMar instead of Zach? I don't know if they're really interested in DeMar like they be Zach. I think they're trying to build something with Zach there sustainable of having fairly young players around the same age together that DeMar really doesn't fit that. Ease Instrument says, you mean smash that Larsa Pippen cheeks button? Man, I'm making some popcorn now. Whoa. How did we get to Larsa Pippen's cheeks? How did we get there? Why did we go with that bar? Why did we go with that bar? That's what I want to see from Zach, our supposed leader. Take the last shot, keep us in the game. Hopefully this is a move in the right direction. Hey, definitely Zach's best game back since injury. Can you go on 670 to score and talk to L. Holmes and Dan B, please? I like your insight. They'd have to invite me on, is what I could say. Billy was not bad this game. He was awful in moments. That's the problem. Some of these late moments undo a ton of goodwill. The default should be to have Kobe run the offense. He's a 3-level scorer. Hey, you're not wrong. I can't poke any holes in that logic there, brother. Trade outside of the big names. Who do you think will be in another jersey soon? Carter seems like someone who's a waste of a spot, but could be a role player for another team. Well, I think any trade comes by trading one of those other names, right? Like I think Javon Carter can be included in a DeMar deal or in a Zach LaVine deal. I definitely think that. So I think there's definitely a chance that Javon Carter is definitely included in one of those because we may have to open up another roster spot. That's got to be one of the best games from Zach defensively. Oh, facts. I think that's definitely one of the best games that we've seen from Zach LaVine on the defensive side of the ball consistently for the whole game. So Drummond made a nice few hustle plays out there looking like an oversized crew. So listen, Drum is always going to get active, right? I think that's not the problem or concern that we have with Drummond. Now, I will say this. This is probably going to be the only game this season where Drummond doesn't have a freaking rebound. That's crazy that Andre Drummond didn't register a rebound in this game. That's wild. Because you just expect that's just what he does, but he only did play 13 minutes, right? So Billy Donovan back to doing Billy Donovan type things. I really did think that with the way that Drum played as a starter, that you would see Vooch's minutes come down, whereas Drummond's minutes came up some, and they kind of even out a little bit more, probably like Vooch gets about 28, 29 minutes, and Drum gets about 20 minutes in that. But we saw Vooch with 41 minutes today, Andre Drummond with only 13. We need to balance that out a little bit more, right? Especially when Sengun was absolutely cooking Vooch at times in this game. So we got to get better with that one. That's something that Billy Donovan can absolutely look to improve on, right, as a head coach. Bulls for Life says Kobe's the de facto leader and best player on this team. Bulls Nation, we finally got one. Hey, we'll see what it is. Delbert in the building says the Bulls got a better team, better record than us. The Rockets tonight, and that says a lot to me. Very positive. Yeah. Listen, this is, like I said, second best defensive team in the league. And the Bulls came in here and they took care of business. Glad we were able to get the dub, but damn, we cannot collapse like that in the fourth. DeMar almost sold us that last minute. Have no effing idea why Kobe didn't take the last shot. He had the hot hand. Hey, you got to talk to Billy Bubblegum Donovan on that one. What was it exactly that makes Zach want to be traded after all? He wasn't playing well at one time. I think he just wants to be on a winning team. As I said before, right? When you get to 30 in the NBA, you start realizing your mortality basketball wise. And I think that we're seeing Zach LaVine realize that and want to be somebody who can win. He wants to be able to win and play for meaningful games down the stretch of it. And when it comes down to it, I think that really played a part. The team struggling, even though he played a part in those struggles, I definitely think that's it. That played a part in it. Bill Simmons said the Bulls are top 6 team in the East. Fight me. I mean, listen, right now we're playing like one. Right now we are playing like one. We have the pace of one. We have the point differential of one. We have the net rating of one. That's what we're doing. We are playing right now like a team that should be top 6 to 7 in the Eastern Conference had we started off the season playing this way. The thing is, can they keep it up, right? Can they keep it up? Right now, they're showing that they can. Let's hope that continues and those questions start getting less and less. Sydney says, how do you think the Bulls will match up against the Warriors? Yep, I said what I said and jumped a game ahead. I mean, listen, I think like this, the Bulls can match up when they play like this, they can match up with any team. Any team. So, I think they'll play pretty well against the Warriors. And you gotta also, which Warriors are you playing, right? Latasha says, I feel that while we had some good games, we still have some things to tighten up to try to make it to the playoffs. I agree. Like we got like the collapse in the fourth quarter, right? The scoring droughts, right? The times that we got out to how many different 8-point leads did we have against the Houston Rockets that we allowed them to chip back down at it, right? Those are things as a team we really got to tighten up. We got to tighten up those things a big time. The Imperfect Christian says, I see some people wanting to trade tomorrow. I really don't think there's any better vets on the market that would fit. It's not about finding vet. So when you trade somebody, it's not about going out and finding somebody to replace just that, right? Otherwise, you just keep that player. When it comes down to people saying trade tomorrow, it's because he hasn't reached a contract extension. And if they're not going to reach a contract extension, you know what that's going to mean? That's probably going to mean that at that point, he's going to walk away for nothing. That's what they're trying to avoid. So let's see what's going to happen with that. Getting closer and closer to 500. Completely agree with you. We're 3 games below 500 right now. Like I said in today's daily episode, this was one of 3 teams that we faced with a winning record, and we had 11 games left in the month of January. We now got 10 games left with 2 games against teams above 500. This is the time for the Bulls to really make their move. It's really time for the Bulls to make their move. Bulls Daily in the building. What's going on, bro? Says, felt like Debo was intentionally trying to lose the game for us. Zach finally shows up in the clutch situation. Definitely did. Cornelius says, Haize, you think we should focus on building the team around Kobe in the future? I mean, much like when you built the team around Zach, his skill set is one that you can build around, right? Now, that doesn't mean that when you get to your ultimate place, that Kobe White's your best player if you're trying to get to a championship level team. But it does mean that if you do build around the skill set that Kobe White has, it's a modern team. It's a team with fluidity. It's also a team basketball, right, being the thing. So I definitely think he offers the best situation for the Bulls in that right now of players that we have on the roster. You don't know who Bill Simmons is, Sydney? Wow. You really are new to basketball, huh? Do you think all Bulls and Bears can win a championship in the same year? Championship? Hell, we can't even win playoff games yet. Let's focus on winning playoff games and playoff series before we start talking about championships. Is it me or am I done with the Lakers trade talks now? Even if it involves Austin Reeves, Bulls analysts, who said if LaVine keeps this up, then he's a Laker in February. Lakers have nothing. No, Lakers have something. And they have, like, when you hear the Bulls are interested in Kevin Huerter, Austin Reeves is a better player than that. So, no, the Lakers have things that the Bulls can be interested in. It's imperative Kobe and Zach find a way to stay in the city. They like yin and yang together, feeding off each other, not to mention that they are the only 2 players from the 2018-19 season. I mean, listen, when it comes down to it, it is what it is. BL Jet says, check your messages after the stream, Haize. I want to mail these shot glasses that I got from overseas. I got you, brother. Chef Miller says, this team is so confusing. I feel like we can beat any team in the league, but can lose to any of them as well. As we are right now, I don't think we can win a 7-game series, though. It depends on the matchup. Depends on the matchup. But I definitely understand your concerns there, brother. Definitely understand them. I truly hope that Zach can keep this consistent play within the flow of winning system we're rolling with. See red. Listen, if Zach does keep this style of play with how the Bulls are performing right now, it can be deep. It can definitely be deep. Malcolm White says Kobe is an all-star. Enough said. I don't think he's going to be an all-star. The voting in the East is very difficult at the guard position, but he's probably going to be in that 3-point contest. With the Warriors on the decline, I'm looking forward to seeing the Bulls team saute Chef Curry and his washed Warriors. F the Warriors fans too. Let's get 4 in a row. Jesus Christ. Bulls for life. What did the Warriors fans do to you? What did they do to you? What happened? What's going on at home? I'm a little bit concerned about that. Sri says Zach playing well is so good. Front office either keeps him, which makes the Bulls a better team, or his trade value goes up and we get better pieces. Win-win. Hey, something to be said with that. What chances do you think Kobe has most improved player? Hey, I mean, he keeps playing up like this and stepping up in fourth quarter situations. It's pretty good chance. Pretty good chance. DeMar was just making 4D chess moves, blowing the game to give another fellas a chance to step up. That's hilarious, Josiah. That's funny. That's funny. Can't believe there are people still standing up for DeMar after the selfishness yet again. 22 seconds straight holding the ball is just laughable. Hey, Ron, I mean, I think people, it's not that people are standing up for it. I think people realize that comes back in large part to coaching. Large part to coaching. I'm super glad that Zach is playing well, and to see him hit the clutch 3 makes me sad, low key. I'm still thinking that they'll wait it out until his value goes up and then he's gone. Listen, there's so many different routes that the Bulls can go with the Zach LaVine scenario that it's endless, really, right? And I think that Zach LaVine playing well though, while he's still here, however long that ends up being, it's best for the team and it's best for him. It's best for the trade value if that's where they go. Exists. Plus, my buddy is a bandwagon Warriors fan, so I want to see Kobe cook his goat. That's fair. Listen, my best friend is a Knicks fan, so I genuinely believe the Bulls can reach the 7 or 8 seed in a stacked East. If they match up with Milwaukee in the playoffs, I'm not sure Bucks scare anyone right now. I mean, it's still a better team than Chicago Bulls, right? I'm a Bulls fan, no doubt. I hope we win, but Steph, my favorite player. Sorry, not sorry. Hey, you got to do what you got to do there. Ryan says, really good point there. Hey, spot on. Actually, just wish Billy would trust Kobe. Then, I mean, yeah, I really hope that he does, because that's how you develop closers. You got to trust them in those moments. Not gonna lie, watching DeMar dribble the air out the ball is such an eyesore. You're probably gonna see a lot more of it, fam. Probably gonna see a lot more of it. Lagonza says, I want to see us keep Levine. Well, we don't have a Levine on the team, so I don't know how we're gonna keep somebody that we don't have on the team. The best part about Zach playing well is the cohesion of the team. Through all the trade talks and the BS, it really felt like they enjoyed playing together. That's what I love to see. I mean, keep in mind, this team has always enjoyed each other. This team has always done that, and that's part of it too. Man, Kobe finna cook up Curry on Friday. Hey, don't say that. Don't put bad juju into the air. Hayes, you think Kobe can be a 36-6 player next year? That's a large step to ask for somebody. Now, keep in mind, 36-6, those are MVP numbers. What's with P. Will recently? He seems to be going back to the shell with the team healthy again. Hope this decline is due to his ankle issues only. I share those concerns with you. I really do hope that Kobe's recent play is just because of his injury and not him going back to passive P. We don't need passive P back on this team. I'm a realist, but right now, can we say during the spurt that the Bucks are the better team? Dame hasn't found a rhythm. Middleton has been horrible, but I understand it's a long season. Yes, they're still the better team than the Chicago Bulls. Yes, they still are a considerably better team than the Chicago Bulls, right? Considerably. Let's be clear. Them struggling is them going 5-5 over the last 10, but still being a whole 13 games above 500. So every team's struggle isn't the same. So, Cornelius, what do you have against using K's at the end of stuff? Why Knicks with 2 C's? Why go with that bar? Why go with that bar? Spell it correctly. I don't understand spelling things incorrectly. When you're taking up the same number of letters regardless, spell it correctly. Maybe that's the old man in me. Do you think there's any chance that they bring DeMar off the bench at some time this season? No. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you, bro. No. Do I wish that they would? Yes. Do I think that they will? No. Who's going to stop Giannis on our team? It's not about stopping Giannis. I hate when people when people make that argument. Johan, I'm going to tell you this. It comes off as if you don't understand the game of basketball. It's not about stopping one player to win games. Much like we won against them with Giannis before. You know what we did in that game? We defended well everything else around Giannis. You don't have to stop a player to be able to beat a team, especially when it's a generational level talent. That's just a bad argument. Bulls Digest next video title. This is major. Andre Drummond secured 0 rebounds. Y'all been killing Bulls Digest. That's funny. It's gonna hurt when Zach go because he's come back a two-way player so far. Yeah, definitely. Despite everything going on with Zach, I still think this team genuinely likes him, and my guess is he stays the rest of the season, barring a crazy offer and they revisit it in the offseason. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. That is definitely a possibility, but we'll see. Shree in the building again says, do you think a 3-way trade for Zach is more likely if he gets traded, like the Raptors and Warriors or Warriors or Raptors and Kings, Warriors and Kings? I mean, yeah, it's a possibility. Anytime that you have somebody with this contract size of Zach LaVine, there's always a possibility of a three-team trade. Read this comment if you're the best Bulls YouTuber. Come on, you already know what this is, man. Even if I didn't read the comment, I'm still the best Bulls YouTuber. That's not a question, right? Like I said before, one thing that the person that you can question is your one titty auntie. You can't question who the best Bulls YouTuber is. So, we all know who that is. Knowing this front office, they might just do something and we get continuity. I actually talked about that not too long ago on the video that continuity may end up being the bet yet again. Once Patrick isn't constantly on the injury report as questionable or probable, then I'll assess his play. Before that, judging Pat is premature. Fair. Definitely fair there. I get so pissed at DeMar until I realize that Billy may have actually instructed him to dribble the air out the ball and force a highly contested mid-range shot. My anger be misdirected. Do you see the possibility that Javon Carter will be on the buy? No, you can't buy. Javon Carter has 3 guaranteed years on his contract. You're not buying that out. If he was in the last year of his deal, maybe, but that's it. I hear that, but I was just saying we don't really have anyone to defend Giannis. It would have to be a team effort for sure, right? For sure. I can't help but to think about what this could have been when we played good team basketball if Lonzo would have stayed healthy. I still have hope. I might be a pipe dream, but it's still a dream to see him. I mean, you may see him again in the Bulls jersey, but you won't see the Lonzo that you saw before he went down. I'm going to sign out for the night at the gym. Good win tonight. Go Bulls. Love y'all Bulls community. Stay up. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you for staying up with us. You're definitely the best Bulls and Bears YouTuber. I watch you every single morning. Thank you for that, Skrill. That means the world to me, man. That really does. I don't know what Javon's contract is. Okay, yeah. I didn't mean to be like a dickhead if I came off like one. I wasn't saying that, but yeah. So Javon Carter signed a fully guaranteed 3-year deal. So the chance of him being bought out are slim to none. Let me just say, no, they're none. You don't usually buy a player with that much left because the team would have to pay considerably a lot in that case. But all right, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. Got to get ready to go over to do Locked On Bulls. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform. Also, hit that subscribe button, man. We're still trying to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the season. I appreciate you guys hit that. Also, you can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. And since we won, you already know you get to see that winning outro. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.
I see red, I see red.